everybody, it is April and I'm in my craft room, and today we're gonna get basted. In my last video, we put together this quilt using 10-inch blocks. So if you didn't see that video, when this one's done, go back here and you can watch it. I said in that video that I was going to share how I baste my quilts, and then I'm going to share how I quilt my quilts, and then I'm going to share how I bind my quilts. But this one is the basting video. Step 1, choose your backing. In order to baste, you need a quilt top. You need something for a quilt backing. There are people who use flannel. There are people who use minky. There are people who use a sheet. It could be a flannel sheet, it could be a cotton sheet, or create an after quilt like Karen at Just Get It Done Quilts or Just Get It Done Quilting. She has a channel I'll link in the description below. There are a multitude of ways that you can do a backing. Normally what I do is I find cotton fabric. My favorite now is 108-inch fabric, because then I don't have to piece it together. Another new favorite of mine is minky. For this particular video, we are going to use 108-inch cotton. You do not have to match your backing to the front of your quilt. I like for my backing to match. I don't know why, because I'm a matchy-matchy person. So I like there to be some kind of cohesion. If you don't, that is not an issue. It is totally up to you. It is your quilt, and there are no quilt police. I have this front, and it's quite colorful. This is the one I'm going to go with. Now this fabric is by Whistler Studios Style. I don't know that I've ever heard of it, but this reminds me of Monet, and I love Monet. So this is the one I'm going to use. Step 2, cut your backing to the size that you need. How do you determine how much backing and batting you need? Well, let me tell you. You need to measure your quilt. I'm going to say 49 by 62. Actually, I'm going to say 49 by 63. And I'm going to write it down because inevitably I will forget it in the next 2 seconds. I'm going to add 3 inches to each of those measurements. So if I do 49 plus 3, that's 52. And 63 plus 3 is 66. So I need fabric that is at least 52 inches wide or 66 inches wide for my backing. And that is at least 52 inches long or 66 inches long. Your average width on just a regular fabric is 40. It can be up to 44. I like to err on the side of caution, so I assume that it is 40. So obviously, if you've got this front or top that is 49 inches at the narrowest, the 40 inches is not going to cut it, let alone that you have to add 3 inches. That's why I like the 108-inch backing fabric. Now, even though you have 108 inches wide, you still only have regular numbers for the other side of the measurement. So I'm going to assume that I will use the 108-inch part for the longest side of my quilt. So that's 66. That gives me quite a bit left over. So this way I only need the 52 inches. So I can just cut 52 inches. Am I thinking about that right? It sounds way too easy. I am going to be using Quilters Select basting powder. And in order to activate this and make it sticky, it has to be ironed. So I don't have to iron anything, even though this is a little, wrinkly, because it will be ironed in the end. So I think that is one benefit of this. Another benefit, I don't have any spray that I could inhale, kill brain cells. Yeah, so that's another plus. I am going to make long ways this way on my table. So the skinny part of my table is where the skinny part of the quilt will be. And the long part of my table is where the long part will be. Now I do have some wrinkles in here, so I'm gonna kind of try and press them out. But again, I will be ironing and we will get rid of all those wrinkles and life will be fabulous. I'm not going to need this whole 108 inches. We already know that. I need, see, I already forgot. And I lost my sticker. See, when you clean off your table, you can't find anything. 66. But I'm going to leave this alone until I get everything laid out and I'm absolutely, positively sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I've cut this correctly. Let me go get my batting. Crap. I'm gonna knock this over. Ah. Oh. Here is my batting. I buy in bulk. I make a lot of quilts. Step 3, get out your batting and get that cut to the size that you need. And batting will stick to your fabric like gum on a shoe. Okay, I've kind of straightened this out. Batting is not perfectly square. It's kind of like a fat quarter. So now I've got this. So let's get the quilt top. Step 4, make your quilt sandwich. We want our batting and our backing to be larger than our quilt top. The reason we want that is because as we quilt, as we free motion quilt, this quilt, it's going to get tighter and it's going to get pressed outward. That's why we start in the middle when we do our quilting. And you don't want to take a chance that your quilt gets pushed further over than your backing and your batting, because recovering from that is a pain. Step 5, adhere your quilt top to your batting and adhere your backing to your batting. And we are going to use Quilters Select Basting Powder for this particular tutorial. I've put it in an IKEA salt shaker and it seems to work pretty well. I have had this table for many years and it folds down to be just this wide. So there's a leaf on this side that folds down and there's a leaf on this side that folds down. And then at Joann's I found this ironing top that is meant specifically for this table. So since I'm going to be ironing a large project, I like to put it on this table and it seems to work out really well. If you look here, I have plenty of room and plenty of backing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my backing and I am going to fold it back. And this leaves the batting exposed. And then I'm going to sprinkle powder. And that's it. I mean, it's really quite simple. One of the benefits of powder is my backing isn't going to stick until I iron it in place. So now I'm going to pull this over and I'm going to smooth it out. And then I'm going to start ironing. And you almost have to leave the iron in place for a few seconds and then move to the next place. And I am actually ironing this. I am not pressing it, I am ironing it because I want that pressure to pull my fabric towards the edge. And I want to get those creases out when I'm ironing as well. Okay, we're done with the back. We still have the front to go. It's like exercising. You work out one side of your body and guess what? You still have another side to work on. So this time I'm gonna flip it over, and we've got plenty of room on the end. I'm gonna put it all the way back there, and I can see where the edge of my quilt top is. So I will try and stay on that edge. I don't want to go too far or too close to it, because I don't want to get my iron messed up. So if I just use that non-stick sheet, I won't have to worry about it. Now here I've got a little crease, so I'm going to pull the edge of my fabric so I can pull that crease out. I don't want to iron that crease in. So right here I feel another, and there's a little crease in my batting. So I will pull this batting, get it straightened out, and then run my iron over it just to smooth it out, so that won't cause me any issues while I am quilting. Be careful, this sheet gets hot. It's not gonna like blast off into flame, but it does get warm. So be careful when you pick it up if you have extra sensitive skin when it comes to heat. And I did get some powder on the outside past my quilt. I can tell because the sheet is sticking. So it's a good idea to use one of these non-stick craft sheets. I'll put a link to one on Amazon in the description below in my affiliate link list. My quilt is basted. Step 6, roll up your quilt top that has been sandwiched, and look for my next video where I share ideas on how to quilt the basted quilt sandwich. Once I have basted my quilt, even if I'm going to quilt it right away or I'm going to wait, I like to roll it up. So I'll fold over, make sure that my fabric is nice and tidy, and then I just roll. This is how I roll. In the past, when I have folded my basted quilts and laid them aside to get to them later, there are creases. And it's not awful, but when I roll them, there are some creases, but it's not that bad. So we have made our quilt top. Now we have basted it with powder. Next, we are going to quilt it. And that video will be coming soon. I will show you how I quilt using my regular domestic machine. I will also show you how I can quilt some of it on my Bernina Q16. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for quilting to come, and then we'll do binding last. Have a great day, eat some chocolate, and be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye. We're gonna get basted. Designs. And if I can't find that it I want to see a haul of it. It is feet. I would just cut 52 inches. Use my blah 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 blah. Then we're gonna get basted. Basted. We're getting basted.